So it's that time of year, time to get started on seeds for 2026. And we first start with, or at least I first start with onions. Now I do onions differently from what I see most everyone else doing. Most everyone else takes a pot, dumps a bunch of seeds in the pot. It produces maybe 50, 60, 75 onion seedlings in that one pot. And then when you're ready to plant them outdoors, you then have to separate all of those seedlings and then plant them on individually in the dirt. The problem with that is if you have any type of dexterity issues, if you have any type of disability, arthritis, maybe hand tremors, it is very difficult to keep those seedlings straight and get them planted in the ground at the right depth. And what I learned in my first year of gardening was that it was a major struggle to hold the seedling steady enough to get it into the ground at the right depth and get the rest of the earth mounded up around it. I just couldn't do it. I have tremors. My hands just shook too much to do that. So the first year, I did not get any onions. So my second year of gardening last year, as you may have seen in some of my other videos, I grew some really huge onions. And how did I do that? I gave up on planting 50, 60 seeds in one pot, separating them and planting them out individually. And instead, I went to putting one seed per cell in a 6-seed cell pack. And that worked out wonderfully for me last year, because what that meant was that I had basically a plug that I could pluck out, put into the ground, keep it at the same height that the dirt already was. If you go any lower, then you're covering up what will be your bulb and it won't bulb up. The problem is with growing onions is that if you plant your onion seedlings too deep, you're just going to get glorified green onions. You won't get a bulb or an onion that you can use to cook with. So I found this method to be a lot easier. It was a lot easier for me to plant them into the ground. I had something to work with that I'm already used to handling and can manage, despite all of my medical issues. And I wanted to share this tip along with the rest of you. So again, yes, this does take up a lot more space than, say, one pot that's got 50 seeds in that one pot. However, this for me works out better because I'm guaranteed an onion. And every single one of the seedlings that I planted out last year all produced onions. Some were whoppers. So I highly recommend this. So I have put I have potting soil in this because I'm going to try this year to keep them in the same 6-cell pack. What I did last year was I ended up potting into the next size up. These are Bootstrap Farmer products, and they had like a small pot that was slightly larger, maybe twice the size of this one individual cell, for example. And I didn't go any larger than that. But this year I'm thinking it might be even easier if I can keep them for as long as possible in this size and then plant them out in April. I did plant out my onions. Took me a couple of weeks to get them all planted up. I ended up with 2 trays like this full of onions. Last year I had Elsa Craig, I had ruby red onion, I had various shallots, and I had something called the red long of Tropia. So this year I switched it up a little bit. I've got Walla Wallas that I'm going to try. Again, the Elsa Craig, this did wonderfully for me last year. I have the Bridger onion, which actually I tried a pelleted seed from Johnny's. These are last year's seeds. They may not turn out very well, but we're going to try. If they don't sprout, that's fine. I will just replace them with, some other onion seed. The reason why I got pelleted last year is because it was supposed to be that it would be easier for me to see, but also a little more substantial for me to handle. We've got creme brulee shallots from Johnny's. These were really good and really delicious. And we've got the Zabroon shallot. These did really well. And again, the red Longotropia. And then we're going to do the ruby red onion. I have not had much success with the ruby red. We're going to give this a try again this year. Hopefully it will do better for me this year. I'm going to try a different sunnier spot. I think I might have had these in too much shade. And I just wanted to show you, this is what the pelleted Bridger onion seed looks like. And as you can see, it's easy to see, and it's thicker than a regular seed because it's coated in this coating that will dissolve with the moistness of the soil. And you can get your seed positioned right in the spot that you want it because you can see it a little easier. And so what we're going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and put one seed in each area. Like I said, I've already got my tags marked out as to what's going where, get them covered over, and that will be it for 2026 onions. And we're all set. We have our first tray of onions and shallots ready to go for 2026. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to repeat, do another tray full of onions and more shallots. And there you have it, the first tray of seeds for 2026. We've got the humidity dome over our tray there. I've got them under lights on my grow rack. We have the vents on the lid closed to keep the humidity inside. If it gets too damp in there, then we can always open them back up, but I'm going to leave them closed for now. I do not have this on a mat, on a heating mat. We'll see how it goes. If I really need the heating mat, then I will pop it under here, but I probably won't need it, so we'll just leave it at that. And that's how I start my onion seeds for the year. Again, I find this to be a lot easier for me. You may find this to be easier for you as well. And I will give an update as to how the seedlings are doing. And then, of course, do another video when it comes time to plant these out in April. So stay tuned.